All right, so live, and then I want to do snag it, record microphone, let's do full screen. Recording a screen as same time as I'm broadcasting. So that should work. Make sure my audio is working. Ooh. Yep, looks like it is. Okay, cool. All right. So today I am going to record a video on the issues with Ansible Core 2.19 and Ansible Community 12. So I'll just go ahead and say Community 12. Well, let me fix this. So I'll edit this. So what is the issue with Ansible? Ansible released Ansible Core 2.19 on July 21st, 2025. Ansible Core 2.19 is part of the Ansible 12 Community Edition, which will be released in August of 2025. We'll talk about why there's two different versions here. But the issue is that Ansible reworked some aspects of Ansible Core in order to fix some issues and security problems, and it ended up breaking a lot of stuff. So for one thing, it breaks the net common collection of modules, and so that's going to be an issue. The other things, it can break other modules. For example, I tested Ansible with not all of them, but many of them. Like, for example, I tested Arista AVD, which is a collection of roles and modules to work with Arista EOS devices for networking. And those are broken as well. So let's talk about Ansible and how they do releases. So let's talk about Ansible and how they do releases. So there's Ansible Core, and then there's the Ansible Community Package. Ansible Core contains the base Ansible components like Ansible-Playbook, Ansible Galaxy, Ansible Vault, etc. And then the Ansible Community Package is a distribution of this with Ansible tools plus the Ansible Core plus Ansible modules, roles, collections, and a bunch of other stuff that typically get installed as well. So it always includes Ansible Core. So and then there's the Ansible Community Package. Now, currently, as of July 2025, late July 2025, 2.19 is the current version. But it is still July when I'm recording this. And you know what? I need to make another slide. I'm going to insert this in. We'll do some edits. And author's note. We'll make this, we'll do a different shape. Nice and rounded. And make it a white background. This video is recorded in late July of 2025. By the time you read this, the issues may be solved. So check back with this channel. Okay, so make this text bigger. Okay, just before we get started, just a bit of an author's note. This video is recorded in late July of 2025. By the time you read this, the issues may already be resolved, so check back with the channel. So this is a time-sensitive kind of video that I'm doing here. So let's talk about the relationship between Ansible Core and Ansible Community, which is a little bit confusing, and I actually had to go do some research on this and read the website. But we have... So there's Ansible Community and Ansible Core, and you can install either one. They both work. Ansible Community includes Ansible Core plus a bunch of other stuff, but you could just do Ansible Core and install that other stuff, the stuff you need, yourself. I typically just install Ansible Community, and we'll talk about how they're done. Now, Ansible so this is the free version of Ansible. You don't have to pay anyone any money to run any of this. If you want to get support, if you want to have a company support your Ansible installation, you can pay Red Hat. You can get support. It's the Ansible Automation Platform, or AAP. I think that's what they call it now. I think they've changed it a few times. So it includes this plus some GUI stuff. But everything I'm talking about is the free version that you can run. It's open source, it's free, and you don't have to pay anyone any money, and it's self-supported. So you're just supporting yourself. So if you run into a problem, typically you're just opening up a ticket in GitHub, or you're Googling it or asking ChatGPT or whatever. So there's Ansible Community and Ansible Core, and I think most of the time people install Ansible Community. That's not going to be released for another, I think, 2 weeks or 1 week, something like that. So like early August 2025. And that will be Ansible 12. And that is tied to Ansible 2.19, Ansible Core 2.19 rather. So that's already out. So we're in this weird transition period where if you type in pip install Ansible-core, it installs 2.19, which breaks a lot of stuff in the networking realm. If you just do pip install Ansible, it will install Ansible 11, which includes 2.18, which works. So there's no problem with 2.18. It's just 2.19 that's broken. But in early August, 12 will be released. And then when you type in pip install Ansible, it will install the broken version, or at least the version that breaks most of your network stuff. It's also, they only maintain the last two versions. So .9 is going to be end of life very soon. So if you're running Ansible Community 9, that's going to be end of life. Now, it'll still work, but they're not doing any active fixes for it, bug fixes or anything like that. They're essentially abandoning it, so it becomes unmaintained. So you want to generally keep within what's being maintained. So in like 2 weeks, or in less than 2 weeks, 9 will be abandoned. So it'll be 12, 11, and 10. So 2.17, 2.18, and 2.19 will be the current supported versions. And when I say support, I mean they're actually building stuff and doing fixes and stuff. So it's 2.18 that breaks everything. And then Ansible 12 will come out. So here I'm going to do a demo, and to do the demo, I'm going to create a base installation of Alma Linux. And I'm going to delete it pretty much immediately after I do it. Actually, no, I want the Autobox. The reason I'm doing the Autobox, it's got a bunch of other stuff installed. Demo, delete me. I could just do this in a container. That would probably be quicker. Oh yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to do clone. That's what I'm doing. Broken. Delete me. All right, let's start this up. Hello, Proxmox. I'm glad, one of the nice things about the crap that VMware pulled, that Broadcom pulled with VMware, is I looked at Proxmox, and it actually does a better job of what I need to do with a hypervisor platform. Okay, so we'll do this here. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, it's doing that thing where it, crap. If IP address add try 189. Oh, ping's not installed. IP address 192.168. IP address add 192.168.1.191 device ENS 18 sudo. So 191. There we go. So this is Ubuntu. And there's a weird problem. I still haven't figured it out. There's a weird problem that when I clone an Ubuntu box, it keeps the IP address. I'm not sure why it did that. Because it's DTP. So it should just grab a free IP address, but it doesn't. It grabs the IP address of the VM that I initially made. So I got to figure that out at some point. Let's go to terminal, new terminal. So right now, Ansible is not installed on this machine. Oh, it is installed. Never mind. Crap. Pip3 uninstall. Ansible. Proceed, yes. Uninstall Ansible core. Okay, so on this system, we have Ansible's not installed. So if I type in Ansible, nothing comes up. So there's generally two ways that we install Ansible on systems. Now, you could install like, this is Ubuntu 2404. I could try apt get or apt install Ansible, and we'll see what it tries to install. Sudo, rather. And does it say what version it's trying to install? No. Let's go ahead and try it, see what happens. See what we get. By the way, we generally don't install things this way. We don't install Ansible this way. The built-in package managers generally work really well for most applications, but for Ansible, we typically use pip instead. So if I do Ansible version, Ansible playbook, Ansible core 2.16. So Ansible 9.2, that's pretty old. Yeah, so that's Ansible. Yeah, so this version is about to be deprecated within like a couple of days. So we generally don't install it this way. So let me do apt remove Ansible sudo. So it's going to install all these things. Okay, so now I'll do Ansible, and there's no file directory. Okay, so typically the way that we install Ansible is we either do pip3 install Ansible or pip3 install Ansible core. So right now, today, this is July 27th, 2025, if I do pip3 install Ansible, it's going to get me 11.8. So whatever the latest 11 one is. So, and then it installs Ansible core 2.18 because again, they're correlated. So 11 and 2.18 are correlated. So we do Ansible collection list, or Ansible Galaxy rather, collection list. You can see this is, yeah, there's all this stuff gets installed with Ansible. And I should, oh yeah, what I should do is get some Ansible stuff. So VLANs.yaml. You know what? I should just clone a repo. This one will do. Actually, no. You know what? I'll do this one. This is for my free class that I did on running Ansible for network automation. Because it's got plenty of examples in it. Okay. So in this example, I've got a playbook. So in this example, I've got a playbook, and I'm running Ansible 11 with core 2.18, which again works. So I do Ansible playbook. I'll do single add VLAN, and it works. I'm getting an error that I can't connect because the switches aren't actually up there. But this is the result I expected. Because I didn't build a topology. You know what? Freaking, I'll just go ahead and build a topology. Because why not? So I need this repo here. Nice thing about automation is that I can set up an entire like topology. I can set up a server, a topology, everything, and it takes like just a few minutes. So I do need to install Docker. Or did I already? Docker image sudo docker image list image ls. Oh, Docker is not installed. I didn't finish the commands. So this would be Project Nerd. So I've got a few commands I need to run. Autobox. You know what I missed? I didn't have the install Docker. Yeah, I was missing the install Docker. Crap. I'm doing one thing, and then I have to figure out another one. So this is for Ubuntu and Debian. Ubuntu and Debian are the same in this one. The apt repository. So I think I need to do this. Yep, that's pretty easy. Do I have Docker now? Now I need to do this command to install everything. And then we do enable Docker here. Okay, so now Docker, good. And then I need to get a version of containerized EOS. I think I already have one here, yeah. Doesn't really matter what version. Get a couple of versions, so that's fine. We're done. All right. So I'll do sudo docker image import CEOS lab. Let's do 433 because I don't think 434 finished. That's already there. Okay, cool. And then I install Container Lab. Which is pretty easy these days. Just do that. And that. Oh yeah, I'll do this sudo apt install btop because I freaking love btop. Because this is btop and it's beautiful. So do sudo clab deploy. Yeah. Oh yeah, so I need to go into nerd topologies, medium, flow medium. I don't install it. Just so when I run the whole reason I'm doing all this, just so I run this example playbook, it actually runs and succeeds to just demonstrate, because it was giving some errors, but because there was no devices at the IP addresses that it was trying to run the playbook on. Let's take a second here. I'm drinking Sunday evening beer out of the Fiber Channel Association glass. I did my 2-mile run today. So either walk or run 2 miles every day. So I'm waiting for this to spin up here. Just wait another minute or so. Oh, what happened here? Did I run out of RAM? I might be running too many devices. Nope, I got some RAM left. Did I just find a bug? Oh, you know what? I don't think I gave this thing enough hardware. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. Oh, yeah, that is yeah, that's gonna be a hard stop. So I tried to start up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I tried to start up 9 containers that take a gig of RAM a piece on a system with only 14 gigs. So the system was just gonna break. So let's try that again. My template that I built only had 4 gigs. So I just had to add the RAM. It's already booted. Oh yeah, I've got to put that IP address back on. Because again, I don't know why it keeps grabbing. It keeps grabbing an old IP address. Is it 191 to ENS 18? There we go. So we'll do sudo clab deploy. See if that works. Oh, gotta reconfigure because it crashed midway through. It just crashed because I didn't give it nearly enough RAM. Should have caught that when I ran btop. Yeah, when you start up all these containers, it actually does peg the CPU pretty bad. You can see the RAM usage is going up. You know, one thing I've got it on my mental list of things to learn to be able to do is to be able to do these really cool terminal effects when I'm writing my Python scripts. So rather than just having single color lines and stuff, to be able to do interesting stuff like this. For whatever reason, this older technology feels more futuristic than a web interface. Web interfaces like feel dated almost. So I was at a place called B&H in Manhattan. And it's a camera store, electronics store. They sell mostly cameras and stuff. And like, you know, it's like the mecca for photographers. So that and Adorama are like the place to go to in New York for camera gear. And they've got not only cameras, but audio equipment, video equipment, lot of stuff. And I was watching them go through their inventory system. It's built on like an old color text terminal, like a TN3260, I think, IBM. So it's like an old IBM mainframe. And the guy was like, this thing is so like, this is for the moon landing. And I was kind of marveling how quickly they were able to go around and navigate the system. Once they knew the system well, they can just go from like menu to menu to menu. You might have seen like flight attendants or gate agents at airports. They've got their kind of old crusty system. So it's not a web interface, it's a text interface, and you see the experienced people just fly through it. All right, anyway. So we should be able to have, I've got a full leaf spine topology running for containerized EOS. What did I do here? There we go. All right, so back to the demo. All right, geez, this prompt is crazy. I'm gonna fix this prompt. Should make it as ZSH. See if that'll. Okay, that'll work. So here we're right now. If I do Ansible version, I'm running Ansible Community 11 and core 218. So that's what you get if you do right now if you do pip install Ansible. And so I can do Ansible playbook, and I'll do single add VLAN, and it works fine. Goes in, changes, adds VLAN 10. So that's the expected behavior. So now let's see what happens when we go back and we remove, so pip3 uninstall Ansible. So it's uninstalling Ansible 11.8. And that's matched with 2.18, which works. We just saw that it worked. So it's doing that. And I'll want to uninstall Ansible core as well. So now there's no Ansible on the system. So we'll do Ansible install, or I'll do pip3 install Ansible. And I can, 12 has not been released yet, but it will be in like a couple of days, like 8 days, something like that. So I'll do Ansible equals 12. And then it says, hey, I can't find it, but I can find these versions. So I'll do 12.0.0 beta 1. So this is the pre-release version of Ansible 12. And it installs Ansible Core 2.19. Now, the pre-release of Ansible is not the thing that's really broken. Well, it's actually kind of broken, but it's 2.19 that's causing the problem. So we're installing 2.19. So now when I run this playbook, Ansible playbook, single add VLAN, I get this action-based parse return data missing positional argument profile. So there's something that they changed in the 2.19 core. And the actual offending problem is a module called netcommon. And netcommon needs to be rewritten, or not rewritten, but needs to be fixed to work with 2.19. Right now, every single vendor's implementation, so Cisco, Arista, Juniper, I'm using Arista EOS because that's what I've got installed right now. But if it's Cisco, if it's Juniper, if it's, they're all broken right now. So anything that uses netcommon, which is basically any network administration related Ansible module, is broken right now with 2.19, which comes with Ansible 12. So I can even do pip uninstall Ansible. So it's going to remove 12. And then I'll uninstall Ansible Core. And then we'll just reinstall Core. Okay, so then we'll do uninstall Core. So now if I do pip3 install Ansible Core, this installs today. If you do this, it will install 2.19. Oh, install by Debian. I got to do, so that's sudo apt remove Ansible Core. Yeah, there we go. So now Ansible, if you just do this and install Ansible Core, it installs 2.18, and we'll try that playbook. So we don't have Ansible Community installed right now. So we can't find the module Arista EOS VLANs because that's part of the community package. So we can install that manually by just doing Ansible Galaxy collection install arista.eos. So it installs arista.eos and then any dependencies, and there's a bunch of dependencies, including netcommon. So the Juniper modules use netcommon, the Cisco modules for NXOS, iOS, etc., they all use netcommon. So we did install netcommon. So now we'll try to run this playbook and we get the same problem. So that's the current problem that we're seeing with Ansible 12 and Ansible Core 2.19. Right now, as of the middle of 2025, so it'll be late July, early August, do not upgrade. If you're using Ansible for network automation, do not upgrade to either Ansible 12 or Ansible Core 2.19 until this is all fixed. My hope is that this will get fixed pretty easily or pretty quickly. And by fall, it should be fine, hopefully. But yeah, so these are the errors you'll see. There's other errors too that aren't related to netcommon. So I can go into my AVD demo, do Ansible playbook build, and I need Arista AVD that we can install that. So that's Arista AVD. So that'll get installed. Okay. So it breaks other things. Oh, and PyAVD. So pip3 install PyAVD. There's another one it's going to complain about too. Distlib. Yeah, that's it. I don't even know what that one does. All right, so so this doesn't use, this is just a build configuration. It doesn't use netcommon, but it's also broken because of some of the way that 2.19 changed. It says here, collection Arista CVP does not support Ansible version 2.19. I actually looked on the AVD website and there was no version requirements that it specified. But anyway, it says there's some AVD ignore requirements. There's a bunch of other things. You fix one thing and another problem comes up. You fix another thing and another problem comes up. So it's not just netcommon that's broken, but it's a bunch of other stuff as well. So oddly enough, the net common issues were noticed in as early as May 2025, and someone opened up a ticket and it had not been looked at or done anything with. And so Netcommon and the Arista EOS modules and the Juniper Networks modules for Junos and the Cisco modules for iOS, NXOS, ACI, they're actually all maintained by Red Hat. And a lot of the time they're fixed by Red Hat. AVD is maintained by Arista, but Arista EOS is maintained by Red Hat. So Red Hat knew that there were some issues and they didn't. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. 2.19 is one of those painful transitions that a lot of platforms go through. Like when we moved from Python 2 to Python 3, that was a painful transition because we had a lot of code in Python 2 and we had to move it to Python 3 because Python 2 is being deprecated and it's deprecated now, but not all the code worked word for word or line for line. So there had to be it was a painful transition. So I think we're probably in the Ansible world, we're in one of those painful transitions. So there's probably going to be a lot of stuff that we find. Now, before this, it kind of didn't really matter what version of Ansible you ran as long as it was relatively recent. And now we've got to be much more careful about how we install Ansible. So I did open up a tick with AVD, so they are aware of this. They're taking a look at it. So like I said, this is one of those rough transition periods. Most platforms will go through rough transition periods where a change is disruptive in terms of operations or setup or convention. These changes are often needed to drive the platform forward. So that's certainly the case with Python. It's the case right now, I think, with Ansible. They had to rework some internal stuff to fix some problems and some potential security issues. But they can be a pain in the ass, and I think this is one of those transitions. So what should you do? Hold off on Ansible Core 2.19 and Ansible 12. That will likely mean when you install new boxes, you're going to have to be specific about the version of Ansible you install. That's going to have to be a previous version. So Ansible 11 and Ansible Core 2.18 are fine. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been any changes in those that are going to break anything. So if you're building a new box now, do not install Ansible 12 or 2.19 if you're doing network automation. Use the older versions. And keep an eye out for fixes. So some of it will be fixing Netcommon. I think they're already working on a pull request for that. And some of it will be making sure that the other roles and collections and modules will work with the new changes. Like AVD is taking a look at that. Probably be a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. I think it'll sort itself out and it'll just be a weird memory. So that's what I wanted to, that's the only thing I wanted to talk about in this video for network administrators is, a lot of network administration, they will build boxes on a fairly regular basis. So, and right now, if you do just your standard, the way we teach people to install Ansible is pip install. It installs Ansible Core with a broken version, or the version that breaks everything. And then in about a week, the Ansible, all Ansible installation methods will install the broken one, or most of them will install the broken one. So you'll have to be specific about what versions you install if you're building a new box. If you're looking to upgrade, then you should have a process in place for testing new upgrades, but you're going to want to hold off. One little thing I want to add, there are some people that are like really insistent that they stick on really old versions of stuff. And I don't like that. Like, for example, if you're on like Ansible Community 7, probably shouldn't be there because there could be some issues, and I just don't like staying on stuff for a long, long time. I don't want to be upgrading every week, but I don't want to be upgrading every 10 years. So I don't think Ansible only goes back 10 years. But to keep things, relatively up to date. But you got to test the installs. And that's what I did. That's how I found this, is I was like, oh, there's a new version of Ansible coming out. Let me test all my automation stuff against it. And then I was like, oh, no. I was like, yeah, so it didn't work out well. So just keep an eye out, and we'll see what happens with the fixes that come down the pipe the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. So remember to test your Ansible, and have a good day. All right, so that should be recording there. I'll go ahead and stop the recording. And then I can start editing this video with Premiere Pro. So if you ever do video editing, if you're getting used to video editing, one of the things you really need to do is you really need to get a handle on how you organize your files. Because what you don't want to have is video files everywhere. So I'm going to copy this here. Because I only got one screen. I think that'll be the only one. Put it in here. And then I'm going to create a new item sequence. So I'm not going to, I record everything in 4K and I upload in 4K. And I do 30 frames per second because the video, the screen recording is 60 frames a second and I don't really care that it's 60. I don't want 60, but I could do 24 frames a second, but it just gets a little jittery sometimes. So this is Ansible Problems 2.19. Then I'll just put this on here. And then I'm going to keep existing settings because the screen capture was a different frame rate. That's okay. Oh, did it? Oh. Ugh. It defaulted. I hate recording at 1080p. There's a way capture. Yeah, it's in here. Capture preferences. Yeah, I don't want to scale captures down. Crap. So I want to record at 4K, but apparently I didn't. So we'll get rid of this. I don't think it's worth re-recording it though. That's annoying though. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal. Yeah, so there we go. Now you get to watch me edit this video. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to hit the restroom. Just a second. Okay, so I had a beer, so I made myself some tea. Some more tea ASMR. Hot tea. Okay. Let's see. Zoom in here. Do a little splicey. So, hi everyone, my name is Tony Burke. Hi everyone. Hi everyone, my name is Tony Burke. I make videos on networking and automation and skydiving, but today we're going to talk about Ansible and some of the problems that are occurring with the recent release of Ansible. So what is the issue with Ansible? Ansible released Ansible Core 2.19 in late July 21st. Well, let me fix this. All right, this is a problem. So far, the audio is unusable. There's a bunch of stuttering and stuff in it. And it might be because I'm streaming and doing multiple audio inputs at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. I don't know if you can hear the stuttering in this. Maybe there's something else wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream and re-record the whole video without doing this. This is an experiment, so I've been trying things out. So this doesn't work. I'm not sure why, but yeah, the audio is unusable. I don't know. Videos on networking and automation and skydiving. But today we're going to talk about Ansible and some of the problems that are occurring with the recent release of Ansible. Yeah, I'll go ahead and stop the stream and then see if it still persists, and then I'll just re-record it and then whatever.